Alright, how's it going? So, we have this heavyweight title fight, right? First of all, I want to say that this isn't a heavyweight world championship fight. I'm talking about Dubois against average Joe Journeyman Parker, right? This isn't a world championship fight, it's a title fight. There is a difference, okay? We know that Usyk is the champion. We know that Usyk is undefeated as champion. We know that Usyk has beat Dubois, okay? Just because he gets stripped of a title doesn't mean that Dubois is now a champion. It just means that Dubois holds a title, right? He has a title. That's it. That's it. He's not a real champion, though. You've got to beat the real champion to be the heavyweight champion, right? So that's what Usyk is. Usyk is the heavyweight champion. There's no disputing. He is the champion. He is still undisputed. Okay, like I say, you can't just take away a guy's title and then say, now this other guy is a champion. No, he's not. Okay, he's a belt holder. That's it. But yeah, this fight for the belt, for a belt or a title, between Dubois and Parker. I made a video before about how I don't really like seeing average Joe get this shot, right? Because he's a very boring fighter. And I stand by those words. He's incredibly boring, right? If you've got sleeping problems, just put on Joseph Parker's fights. You know, you'll get to sleep straight away. I guarantee that. You know, I mean, how do you fight a guy like Wilder, right? A big puncher like Deontay Wilder, and turn it into an absolute snooze fest? And the same thing with Joshua, his fight with Joshua. Again, Joshua, big puncher, normally in entertaining fights. Parker makes it an absolute snooze fest. You know, that's what he does. That's the type of fighter he is, like Shakur Stevenson, Haney. You know, add Parker to that list. Just boring all around. You know, every fight he's in is boring. Or not every fight, but most of his fights. I would say the most entertaining fight that Parker has been in is the fight where he was stopped. The only time in his career where he was KO'd, right, against Joe Joyce. That's his most entertaining fight, right? And that leads me to this fight, because I actually think that this fight will be entertaining to a certain degree. Because in that fight against Joyce, Parker was forced to fight, right? Joyce brought a lot of pressure. Parker was on the back foot. The ring was getting closed off, and he had to throw back. He had to try to keep Joyce off him, which made for an entertaining fight because Joyce is coming forward and Parker's throwing back. So that's the most entertaining fight that Parker has ever been in my opinion. Now, that's what we have here with Dubois and Parker. You got Dubois, who is a front foot fighter. He's going to be aggressive. You know, he's going to fight this fight like he fought his last fight against Anthony Joshua. He's going to come forward. He's going to bring the pressure, right? And Parker is going to be forced into a position where he has to fight, right? So, with that being said, this should be a decent fight in terms of entertainment and, you know, just the way these two guys gel, because Dubois is going to come forward. You know, he came forward against Hrgovic. He came forward against Miller, right? He came forward against, last fight, Joshua, right? That's what Dubois does. And he's on this role where he's stopping guys. Although I will say I do want to see the Hrgovic rematch. You know, it's a bit of a shame that Hrgovic is sort of pushed to one side now, because that was a very good fight, and that fight was stopped on a cut. Dubois didn't stop Hrgović. That fight was stopped on a cut in a fight that Hrgović was winning. So just a side note, I want to see Hrgović come back and maybe get a shot against Usyk or Fury or Joshua or Dubois. I'd love to see Hrgović back. But when it comes to this fight, like I said, Dubois is going to come forward. Joseph Parker is going to be forced to counterpunch, and that should make for an entertaining fight. I do think that in this fight, someone's getting stopped. I think either Dubois is going to be too much for Parker, and he's just going to basically beat up on Parker, or he's going to get caught by a counterpunch, right? Parker's going to line up a counterpunch and catch Dubois coming in. That is a possibility, right? This is heavyweight boxing, even though Parker's not a big puncher. He's got decent power, so he could definitely knock Dubois out 100%, especially if Dubois overextends. He's too aggressive against Parker. Parker could definitely catch him with a good hook or straight right hand or something and hurt Dubois and then finish him. But the way I see this fight going is, I don't think Parker is going to land the right punch. I think Dubois is just going to break him down. I do think for a couple of rounds it's going to be entertaining, because like I say, Dubois is going to come forward. Parker's going to be put in a position where he has to let his hands go, and that's going to lead to both guys getting caught. I think both guys are going to get hit early in the fight. But I just think Dubois is going to be too strong and too aggressive, and he's got this momentum behind him of 3 good wins in a row. Parker, okay, he's been on a winning streak lately, but in the fights he's been in, Deontay Wilder was, I don't know what he was doing. He turned up and put in the worst performance of his career. Zhang dropped Parker early, but then faded, sort of gave up. Not really gave up, but he was satisfied with the early knockdowns and he stopped fighting. So these aren't guys that are like Dubois. Dubois comes to fight. Dubois brings the fight from the first round. So I think Dubois is going to come after Parker. Like I say, Parker's going to be on the back foot, counter-punching. It's going to be pretty entertaining. But I think Dubois is going to break down Parker and stop him. Alright, that's the way I see it. Let me know what you think.